My name is Sarah Beston, and I currently live in Manhattan Beach, California. Yoga, I think, finds people when they're ready to be found, or I found yoga when I was ready to find yoga. But for me, it was after college. I had moved out to the West Coast from Boston. I went to school in Boston. My family was there. I moved out to California. I was in Long Beach, California at the time, and kind of came from this place of just needing something. I didn't know what it was, and I grew up as a gymnast and a dancer, and I just felt like I wanted to feel that movement in my body again, but I wanted to do it in a way that felt more healing. So I think it was, don't remember the exact moment that I went to my first class, but it was sometime in that first year that I moved to California, and I went in just having no idea what to expect. And having been an athlete and having that competitive nature, went into yoga like, I'm gonna win yoga. Like, watch this, watch my yoga. And quickly learned that there's no such thing as winning yoga, thank God. And for the first time, I guess I really felt like I could breathe and be in my body instead of trying to make my body do something. As much as I loved that at that period in my life, I definitely needed that coming back to the body, coming back to the body in a healing way. So I allow the competitor within me, which I feel like, that's part of my nature, was to always feel like I wanted to perform in that way or compete in that way. And I think I allow that competitor to soften by reforming the relationship with myself, really. So coming back to the breath, breathing. At first it comes in a mental way, I think, when you're in the yoga room and you're practicing and you kind of find yourself looking around and like, oh, there's a 70-year-old woman that's kicking my ass in yoga. And then you first mentally kind of remind yourself, like, that's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. Come back to your breath. Close your eyes. Make it internal. And I think for me, softening the competitive part of it was a way to just really allow to become okay with not trying to be perfect. So I think it started mentally, just knowing in my mind that that's not the way that you want to approach this. And then eventually it became integrated with just a way of being and a way of just really honoring myself and knowing that felt a lot more free. I started teaching, I did my teacher training while I was actually in a very corporate job. So I was, after college, moved out to LA, did the corporate thing, did the 9-to-5 thing, did that for about 10 years. It was more like 7 to 8 every day. And after about 10 years of being in the corporate world, just slowly feeling that, like, is this it? Is this what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go and sit in a cube every day and come home and not feel very good about it. So I think for me, it was like, okay, I'm in this job, I'm in it for now. And doing my teacher training was a way that it was like, well, I don't know if I'm ever gonna teach, but I know that this feels freeing and I know that this feels good. So I'm gonna go through this teacher training and then we'll see. So it was never an agreement to, okay, I'm gonna quit my job and then I'm gonna teach. I think that came gradually as you work through the fear of, well, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And then when the supposed to be doing becomes your hell, you look for ways out. And so I started subbing while I was still in corporate, and then just, made that decision. It wasn't one day, but it was a gradual working through the fear of getting out, and finally just being able to take the leap and become a teacher. There are so many memorable moments with teaching. I mean, every time I get the gift of being able to share yoga with my students, I realize that they're giving me so much more than I could ever provide them. The journey of coming into a room and being able to share in the experience with other people has truly been one of the greatest gifts that I could ever receive. And I just think it's amazing and inspiring to see the people who show up and they do the work and they, give themselves over to this experience, this process of really coming back to themselves, allowed me in so many ways to heal and come back to myself. I mean, that's a constant journey, but being so far removed from who I feel like I am at my core and my authentic self, and then feeling in the presence of teaching and with my students, being able to, discover who that person is within me, but also watching them doing the same, has been just a true gift, and I appreciate it every single day. Being my authentic self, I guess it comes from knowing what it feels like to not be your authentic self and the pain that kind of comes with the separation from who you really are to the life that you're living. And then I think for me, there's no words for what my authentic self is. It's just that feeling of freedom. And every time I roll out my mat, there it is. So, yeah, grateful for that. What really nourishes me is new experiences, and that can be small, it can be large. I love to travel. I love being outdoors. I love nature. I could go out in my backyard, and that is inspiring to me as long as I can allow myself to be there, right? So how much can I see what's in front of me? How much can I allow my senses to awaken to what's around me? So it's disconnecting, it's putting my bare feet in the sand or the grass and just really being around the elements. And then obviously just going everywhere. I really love to travel, so so just having that next big trip planned so I can experience new cultures, new people, just being curious, approaching the world like a child, like everything's lots of questions. So as a holistic health coach, I do truly approach life in a holistic way. So while it may be eating, it may be yoga, it may be your lifestyle, your relationships, your career, your spirituality, whatever it is, full circle, if one thing's out of whack, everything else is going to be affected. So as far as even what we're eating, what you put into your body is going to impact how you live your life and how your day unfolds. So I do believe that you need to find that holistic approach to your life and make sure that you're nourishing not only with food, but through how you're spending your time and through what you're surrounding yourself with on a daily basis. So it's all connected. So my personal yoga practice has evolved a lot. I think it's really, the more you come back to yourself and the more that you allow yourself to drop in and come to your practice with just this sense of curiosity and beginner's mind, you can just allow it to evolve in a way that is not forcing. And I think, when I first started yoga, it was very much about the physical and I have to get these postures and what is this and figuring it out. And, I really, now as I practice, it's become more freeing in that I don't have to figure it out, right? I can show up wherever I'm at, whatever day it is, whatever mood I'm in, whatever's going on in my life externally. And it's kind of this way lately where I can just come home, where rolling out my mat is a coming home for me. And that I don't even have to move, but I can just really sit and be and allow it to evolve in a way that it reveals itself to me rather than me trying to reveal myself to it. So it's become a lot more freeing in that way, and you know, it's a process. It's different every day, but I just keep showing up and showing up with an open heart and mind. How do I know my practice is working? What the hell is going on in my life? How am I showing up in my life? If I can show up in a way that is authentic and true to me, then I have something to offer. So for me, I know my yoga is working when I can, do my practice and then take what I've discovered, what I've learned in the yoga room on my mat and put it into play in my life. Because it really, if it happens in the yoga room, great. But unless you can actually take it to the rest of your day and the majority of your world, then, it's not really working, right? So it's, how am I responding when I'm challenged? How are my relationships? What's going on outside of that room? And am I contributing to the solution, or am I a part of the problem? So it's really like, how am I showing up for myself first? And when I can show up for myself, when I can be authentic and true with myself, then how can I offer that out to the rest of the world in a meaningful and helpful way? My advice for any yogis on the path, students, teachers, anyone, I'm a newer teacher myself, my advice is to be gentle. I think, I've definitely struggled with self-love in my own life, so just allowing yourself to be exactly where you are, knowing that exactly where you are right now is okay. And I'm speaking to myself right now, but hopefully it will help you too. But knowing where you are is okay. You don't have to have all the answers. In fact, thank God, like no one does. But it's all a process. It's all a journey. And just be easy, go gentle, and honor yourself. Do you.